Price Clark of Storehouse Media. All right, Sherry, we got a great guest on today, and I know her well already because I got the opportunity to interview her just a couple weeks ago, and we're already working with her. How are you?
I am doing great, and I am so excited about this because I get to introduce my friend and novel author, Mary Eckert. Welcome, Mary.
Well, thank you for having me, Sherry. I've been looking forward to this, and I'm so excited about my book coming out. And I've been getting a whole lot of feedback. Everybody's excited. So
Well,
thank
Yeah,
you.
you wouldn't believe the traffic she's getting on her website already. It's unreal. The wheels are in motion. Go ahead, Sherry, with your first question for
yeah,
her.
I am. I'm so excited because we've been working on this book for a while, and it's an awesome book. It's called Wounded Sisters, and I want you to tell us a little bit about it and why you wrote it, and what it's about. But my gosh, you are such an interesting character in yourself. I don't know if you know this, but I'm going to tell you. She's a Christian author of both nonfiction and fiction, but she's 73 years old. You didn't mind me telling that, right? Because she
No,
had it
not
in
at
the
all.
bio. But she doesn't consider herself old because when she was 70, she went skydiving,
I did.
and she's going to go again when she's 80 and when she's 90 and when she's 100 because she said life's too short to keep both feet on the ground.
That's right. Life is way too
I
short.
love that. A lot of people won't go skydiving even if they're young, but you just did it. So anyway, welcome, Mary. It's so good to have you here. And
Got to
I
be
just
here.
I want you, we've been working on this book. It's an awesome book. And we look at your book, you are a master storyteller
Well, thank
because
you.
in your book, you weave almost like three stories together. Like there's three stories going on, and somehow they kind of merge towards the end where you bring all the characters together to get this outcome. And so I do want to learn about that. But first of all, tell us about Wounded Sisters and what inspired you.
Well, what inspired me, Sherry, was a lot of my past, and also going through the things I went through as a young woman, and taking those stories, the true life stories, and giving them back to God, so to speak, instead of staying stuck in the pain and the abuse, because I did go through some abuse. Instead of staying there, I wanted to turn it back around and use it to help other women that had gone through the same thing. And by writing this story was kind of cathartic. Now, it's not my story, but every one of the characters in the book do have just a little bit of me in them. And that's totally a fiction story, but I take my own experiences. And, they always say, write what you know. And so that's what I did. I wrote about the things I knew, and also from the experiences of I ministered to women for a long time who have gone through a lot of issues in their life, and teaching them about letting go and forgiving those people that have hurt them and forgiving themselves. The most important thing there is to forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made in your life. And so that inspired me to take this story. And you're right, it does have three different issues in it that all come together. And it's not just women that go through abuse, it's also men, because sometimes the abused person becomes the abuser. And so this is part of the story also. But basically, it's just a story of overcoming. And the wonderful thing about developing friendships with women, Christian women, because I couldn't have done this by myself. I had a lot of good friends, and I had God. And so that helped me get through it. So that's what inspired the story.
And you know what's interesting is it was not a quick book to write,
No,
even in the process. Not once you've gotten and worked with Sherry, which has done a tremendous job getting this book together to be able to be released on March 17th, just 1 week from now. Uh, the other part is that you were challenged to maybe consider not even writing the book,
there
stopping the book.
there was a time. Oh, I put a lot into the book, And it took me, like you said, it took me quite a number of years to write it. But there was an incident in my life when my first grandson was in a bad car wreck, and Jesus took him home. And during that time, I went into a pretty bad depression, and I didn't write another word on that book for nearly 2 years. That just kind of made me stop because I was so devastated and so hurt by that loss until I gave it back to God. I just said, I know that God knows things that we don't know, and He sees down the road that we don't see. And it was a gradual overcoming of that grief and the realization that my grandson is in heaven, he's safe, and I will see him again. But yes, my book came to a screeching halt during that time. But then what happened, and what was a beautiful thing that happened, and that incident increased my faith. My faith grew out of that grief. And I can talk to other people who have gone through the same thing. And even some of that grief is in the story Wounded Sisters. So
That's right. That's right. And you know, you made the remark, you said you write what you know. And I agree. You know, Neil and I work with authors every day, but you also, you know, what I think is the forerunner to that is write your passion. And obviously those stories of those women and the stories that you put, you know, you combine them. It's like that's what writers do. They can take a piece of here and there and they create their own character and scenes like that. But those were your passion. I mean, your passion about what you do and your help with these women and what you've gone through yourself, because life has not been a bed of roses for you either. You've had a lot of ups and downs before you got with your husband and everything. And so you did a really, it was a well done job, because first and foremost, your passion came through. And you know, I say I can teach skills every day, all day long, but I can't ever teach that passion. That passion just comes from within, and that's just something you come with. You came to the laptop or the pen and paper with that already. Well done.
well, thank you, Sherry, for that. You talk about that passion. I want people, my characters in my book, I want them to be real. I don't want them to be cookie cutter characters. And that is one thing that just really stands out for me is the conversation that the girls have, the background of each one of the characters, and this set of friends, the four women from Marfa, the set of friends, they grew up together, they were always there for each other. And that is so important to have that community of sisters. And even if they're wounded or whatever, you come together and you share your hurts and you share your dreams with each other. And you're there to hold somebody's hand when they need it the most. I have a very dear friend like that myself, and I don't know what I'd do without her. During the time that my grandson, during his passing, she was here every single day for over a week, just sitting with me, just sitting here with me. And I wanted to bring that across in the story and about Wounded Sisters. And it's not just about everyday women. There's a set of pastors' wives in the story too, because a lot of times we look at pastors' wives as if, oh, they never did anything wrong. They can't do anything wrong. Nothing ever happens to them. And that's a fallacy, because those women, they have their own hurts. And a lot of it's just kept behind closed doors because they don't have anybody to talk to. And one of
That's
my
right.
ministries is talking to women and getting them to realize that no matter where you've been in life, no matter what has happened to you, that God can take your mess and turn it into a message. And that is what I'm trying to do
I
through
love it.
my writing.
Well, talking about again, Mary is from Texas, and the town that she's in Texas is so excited the book's coming out. Tell your town, you know, you get the opportunity in the second interview with me, and now with Sherry as well. And it's going to go out to syndication, and everyone's going to hear your name more and more. But what about your towns for people that don't know about your town and how excited
Oh,
they are about the book coming out?
well, they're very excited, especially the people in my church. But Mason is well known for Old Yeller. That's the story about Old Yeller, because the man grew up there that wrote the book. And so writing is something that's, and there's a lot of other authors that live in Mason that have books coming out too. But it's a very close-knit town. It's a very conservative town. It's a very Christian town, and very, very supportive of everybody in the town. And I have 3 book signings already set up for the town. I have one at the library and one at a store, and then this summer I have one. So I'm all excited about it, and everybody else is excited. And then they're just waiting for the book to come out, because they've already asked me, when can I get the book? Where's the book going to be? When am I going to get the book? So I said, well, you're just going to have to wait till St. Patrick's Day.
There you
Well,
go.
I
Playing the
it's,
celebrity.
everyone's getting excited. It's
They
coming
are.
soon,
Yeah.
for sure. Good, Sherry.
Yeah. I mean, you're a celebrity. First, I want to say I'm sorry about your grandson, and that had to be tough for you to go through. How old was he?
Pardon, I couldn't hear you.
Your grandson. I'm sorry about your grandson. That had to be tough for you to go through in your writing on what you're doing.
It was very hard.
Yeah.
But like I said, Sherry, being a Christian and being surrounded with such a strong Christian community and friends, that's helped me get through it. And I know without a shadow of a doubt that I will see him again one of these days. And I also had a good friend of mine pass away with cancer. And she's going to be talked about in the next. There is going to be a sequel to this book. So anybody that reads the book needs to put in a review. So, because there will be a sequel. I'm not going to give away what I was just getting ready to say. I'm not going to say that.
That's
So,
right.
but God is always there in the middle of our pain. He always is. Sometimes we refuse to listen. We don't want to hear that. We don't, because we're hurting so bad. Sometimes you just don't want to hear it. That He's still there. He's not going to walk away. I mean, we may shut him off, but he's not going to walk away. He's going to be right there waiting for us to just calm down and listen. And he was there for me.
You mentioned about the pastors' wives, and they go through stuff, and they just don't have anybody to talk to. I mean, they really don't, because they're up here, and people come to them, and you're not supposed to have any problems. What would you tell pastors' wives who are going through? What would you encourage them to do when they just feel like they have nowhere to go?
Well, the one thing I would encourage them to do, Sherry, would be to find somebody that they can trust, that they can sit down and talk to. That is something that's very much needed. That they feel you have to feel safe. You have to feel safe and not judgmental. When I minister to women, the first thing I say is, I'm not your judge. No matter what you've been through, no matter what has happened, I am not your judge. I am here to love you. I'm here to lift you up. I'm here to listen. I cannot solve your problems, but listening is the best thing that anybody can do. Just to listen, to have somebody that is there, that's just sitting there and listening to your heart. And not in no way, form, or fashion do you sit in judgment of them. That's not our job here. Our job is to love people, no matter what walk of life they come from, no matter what's happened to them, no matter where they've been, because that's what Christ did when he was here. He just loved us. And forgiveness. The book has a thread of forgiveness in it. How important that is, not only to forgive people who have hurt you, but also to forgive yourself for the mistakes that you've made. And here's something else a lot of people don't hear. Sometimes you even have to forgive God. Because during the time that I lost my grandson, I hated him. I hated God. I told him that. I laid there in my bed and I was so angry and so hurt and so devastated that I didn't want anything to do with him anymore. But he came to me and he told me to get out of that bed. I had a life to live. I had to go forward. And then I came to the point where I could accept it. And I knew that that love was there and that peace and that comfort. And I told God to forgive me. And I forgave him for taking my son, my grandson. And pastors' wives just need a listening ear and a safe place. And in the book, there is a safe place where they come together and where they realize that they're not alone, that there is a sisterhood of wounded women, that they're not by themselves. And that's so important because there's so many women out there that think nobody feels the way I do. I'm so abused. I'm so hurt. I've made so many mistakes. Nobody could ever forgive me. But that forgiveness is there and that love is there. And so we need to open our hearts and just listen. That's the most important thing. No judging, just listening.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that feeling like no one will understand because no one's been through it but you. It puts that veil of secrecy over you, and it's more hurtful than good. And so I totally agree. Like you have to find like you had, trusted friend, somebody who will just listen, not asking for advice. You're not, just to listen, to get out into the atmosphere, what you're thinking and you're feeling. Because if it's there, it's like a putting mold in a closet, closing the door, and it just grows and it festers. So those are good words. Those are powerful words, and that's a big message in your book.
Absolutely. It's like, I'm a retired nurse, and I know some wounds don't heal unless they're exposed to the air. Take the bandage off. And sometimes things in your heart that are in your wounded heart need to be exposed so the healing can start. And that's where God is. God does that. I cannot heal anyone else. All I can do is listen and point them towards the healer, and that is God. So,
Amen.
Wow. Okay. Any other questions, Sherry, you have for Mary?
No, it's just such a pleasure to talk to her. She's just the kind of person, Neil, that you could just talk to all day long, you know, and because she's a great listener too, and she's full of wisdom. And you have to tell me when you go skydiving the next time.
well, that's going to happen. It will
You
happen.
said it, and I believe it.
I had the first time I went, I had my granddaughter with me. She's the one that went to Scotland. I went to Scotland with. And so she said, if my grandmother can do this, I can do this. Well,
Yep.
her experience wasn't near as good as mine. She won't go again. She said she'll stay on the ground and watch me fall. Bless her little heart.
That's so funny.
Okay, fantastic. And your website is marysheareckert.com. That's where you guys at one point will be able to even pick up the book from that. That'll be linked to the book in Amazon and all the different things when the launch comes on March 17th. All right.
Okay.
We're looking
Okay.
forward to it, Mary.
All right. That was the special simulcast. But remember, go to storehousemediagroup.com for all things podcasting, media, social media, and also publishing, writing, anything. storehousemediagroup.com. Appreciate it, guys. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Storehouse Media Group podcast, guys.